Michigan State, what a fall from grace for Michigan State. And here's what I mean by a fall from grace for Michigan State. Their win total projected is 5.5 as well as Purdue. Now, the reason why I say a fall from grace is because Mel Tucker gets there and they do relatively well at the very beginning of the year. His first year, they do very well, but they lose their running back. So you think, okay, they're going to come in. They pay him all this money, and everything's good. He comes in and wins right away. It's the Matt Nagy effect where they come in, he wins right away, and then now the expectations are through the roof. Well, Mel Tucker comes in, wants to change culture, wants to do all these things, does. They win big games. They were ranked in the college playoff. Then coming in, they're going to pay him this money because he's doing well. They want him to stay. So this big buyout has been put in there. This guaranteed money's put in there. Then they go 5-7. They go 5-7 last year, 3-6 in the Big Ten. Now, well, there was injuries. You have to adapt. It's still you have to get his guys in there, the transfer portal, everything else. They didn't have a run game. Quarterback was injured. Okay, you look at those things. Okay, that's fine. But then you have your best receiver this year into the transfer portal late, which then causes your quarterback to transfer out late. So now you're scrambling around trying to figure out your run game. You're scrambling trying to figure out who your quarterback's going to be, and you're scrambling to try to figure out who your wide receiver is going to be. So you go 5-7 overall last year, 3-6 in the Big Ten. I'm sort of surprised looking at their schedule. The only reason why looking at their schedule they could win more is probably because they don't know what a Rutgers is going to be. They don't know what Maryland's going to be, and they're probably not sure about Indiana or Nebraska. That is probably why Michigan State's in there at 5-5. And I think DraftKings and Vegas is trying to give the benefit of the doubt, saying, well, they're Michigan State. Mel Tucker's paid all this money. He's coached under Nick Saban, all them. They'll figure it out. 5.5, looking at the schedule, is kind of generous. It really is. Because if you look at their schedule, they open up against Central Michigan. By principle, you would think Michigan State should win that game. But never underestimate the smaller Division Ones or the FCS schools right out of the gate, because that could be one they lose. Richmond, by principle, they could beat. Washington is a good football team. That is going to be an extremely tough game. That's going to be an extremely tough battle for them, especially with your quarterback situation, your run game situation, and now your wide receiver situation. Maryland is cooking on a pan. It's cooking on a pan. Sometimes you have this big fizzle where they just fizzle out, it shrimps up and you don't see them again, or it's just perfect where they're going to come in and just beat you and compete. They've been very weird that way over the last couple of seasons, but you never know with them. Iowa is a toss-up. What kind of offense are they going to have this year? Are they going to have any type of offense this year whatsoever? Are they going to fizzle on offense, or is their defense going to step up and be just like they were last year to keep them in games? Rutgers, it's always a trap game because you kind of overlook Rutgers here and there, but it's very possible that they beat Rutgers there too. Michigan's going to be tough. Minnesota is always disciplined. You don't know what you're going to get out of Nebraska. Ohio State, they're not going to beat Ohio State. You don't know what you're going to get out of Indiana. And Penn State is poised to have another competitive year this year to try to get back to what they've been. So the 5.5, where do they get 5.5 wins? Maybe their first two. They can go on a 3-game losing streak, beat Rutgers. So there's 3. Are they trying to say they're going to beat Indiana and Nebraska for their 4th? Are they trying to say they're going to beat Minnesota, Nebraska, Indiana? Maybe they could have with Peyton Thorne there. Maybe they could have with all of their guys there and they have some type of run game going. I just don't see how they can even get to a 5.5 when you're looking at over-under. I don't see it. And we'll talk more as the season, in the summer and the fall camp. I just don't see it. So this would have fall from grace for Michigan State down here from what they were, winning a lot of games, being ranked in the college football playoff, slipping up there to get into the playoff. But man, what a fall from grace for Mel Tucker and the Michigan State Spartans.